Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is June, and I'm an assistant professor at Drexel University, where my work focuses on aging immigrant communities and participatory design. In this presentation, I introduce the concept of aging in diaspora as a way to rethink age-friendly design for immigrant older adults. I will discuss why the dominant framework of aging in place is not always sufficient, and how community-based co-design can help us better understand place, culture, identity, and belonging in later life. Aging in place has become one of the most familiar goals in gerontology, policy, and design. It often means helping older adults remain safely and independently in their homes and communities. But for immigrant older adults, the meaning of place can be more complicated. Home may refer to the current neighborhood, but also to a homeland, a language, a food culture, a family network, or a set of memories that remain elsewhere. This presentation begins with that question. What does place mean when aging happens across cultures and across geographies? The concept of aging in place has been important because it pushes back against institutional models of aging and emphasizes older adults' desire to remain in familiar environments. In design and policy, this often leads to attention to housing, mobility, accessibility, and community care. These are essential concerns. However, this framework often assumes that place is stable and culturally coherent. It assumes that the place where an older adult lives is also the place where they feel culturally recognized, emotionally rooted, and socially connected. For immigrant older adults, place is often fragmented. Many have moved across countries and languages. Their families may be scattered across continents. Their social roles may shift after migration. Their memories and identities may remain tied to landscapes, traditions, and communities that are no longer physically nearby. In this context, aging in place is not only about remaining in a house or neighborhood. It is also about whether that place can hold one's cultural memory, language, dignity, and a sense of belonging. I use the term aging in diaspora to describe this condition. Aging in diaspora recognizes that immigrant older adults often face a dual displacement. There is the physical vulnerability of aging bodies, and there is also cultural and emotional displacement from living far from one's homeland. This does not mean immigrant older adults are only defined by loss. Rather, it means that age-friendly practice must recognize the layered ways that place, culture, and identity shape later life. The conceptual framework grows from my multi-year IRB-approved community-based participatory research with Asian immigrant older adults in Philadelphia. Through the Empathic CoDesign Lab at Drexel University, I have worked with students, community partners, and immigrant older adults to explore how design can support participation, cultural expression, and belonging. Over the last 4 years, more than 70 multidisciplinary students and 30 older adults participated in this research. We analyzed their feedback surveys and reflections after each workshop and course. In aging research, design is often brought in to solve practical problems such as safer homes, clearer services, or more accessible environments. These are important. However, for immigrant older adults, design also has another role. It can help make cultural memory, identity, and emotional belonging visible. In this project, I approach design not only as problem solving, but as a way to create conditions for recognition, expression, and connection. The research was developed through community-based participatory work with Asian immigrant older adults in Philadelphia. Through the Empathic CoDesign Lab, Students worked with older adults, community partners, interpreters, and facilitators. The process included co-create sessions, co-design workshops, shared meals, and public exhibitions. These activities helped move the work beyond a one-time workshop toward sustained relationship building. A key methodological contribution of this work is the use of co-design toolkits as cultural bridges. In cross-cultural research, verbal fluency can easily shape who participates and whose knowledge becomes visible. The toolkit helped reduce that barrier by using images, objects, storytelling prompts, and material practices. This allowed participants to share experience through memory, making, and cultural expression, not only through spoken English. The outcomes of this work included an ongoing language exchange program, co-created public exhibitions, and age-friendly innovation supported through entrepreneurship pathways. These outcomes show that co-design can move beyond a single workshop. It can generate programs, relationships, public visibility, and new opportunities for older adults and students. These specific outcomes are also named in the accepted abstract for this presentation. This work reveals that immigrant aging cannot be understood only through physical location. Remaining in a place is not the same as belonging to that place. A neighborhood may be safe, but culturally isolating. A service may be accessible, but linguistically difficult. A program may be well-intentioned, but culturally unfamiliar. Aging in Diaspora asks us to consider whether age-friendly environments can recognize the whole person, including migration history, cultural identity, memory, and emotional attachment. This theoretical reframing shifts the focus of age-friendly design. Aging in place remains important, but it is not enough. We need to move from a framework focused primarily on physical infrastructure and service access toward one that also considers culture, identity, and belonging. Aging in Diaspora asks designers, policymakers, and service providers to think about how place is made meaningful, not only how it is made accessible. There are several implications. First, age-friendly practice should design for belonging, not only access. Second, cultural memory should be understood as part of older adults' well-being and identity. Third, participatory methods should not rely only on verbal discussion, especially when working across languages. Fourth, intergenerational co-design can create mutual learning between students and older adults. Finally, immigrant older adults should be treated not only as service users, but as knowledge holders and co-creators. To close, I return to the opening question. What does it mean to age in place when home is stretched across countries, languages, memories, and families? I propose Aging in Diaspora as a framework for answering that question. It reminds us that place is not only physical, it is cultural, emotional, relational, and remembered. Design can help make these dimensions visible, and it can help create more inclusive, age-friendly futures for immigrant older adults. Let me read the sentence on this page. Age-friendly practice must ask not only whether older adults can remain in place, but whether that place can make room for who they are, where they come from, and what they carry. Thank you. Here is my contact information. Feel free to email me or scan my QR codes. Here are 3 of my QR codes. First is the website of my lab. Second is my LinkedIn information. Third one is my university profile. I would love to hear what you guys think. And let's keep on the discussion of age-friendly futures.